All right, we'll go ahead and get started just out of respect for everyone's time. And as people come on, I'll go ahead and bring them into the group. But again, welcome to the fall virtual contractors breakfast. Generally, this is something that we do in person at ACI. However, again, COVID brought us a couple of curveballs, and we're trying to still bring you all the opportunities for learning, growing your company, and surviving and thriving during COVID and beyond. So welcome today to the Contractors Breakfast. My name is Erica Schweigman. I am the Associate Director of Membership and Marketing at Allied Construction Industries. I've been with the team for about 7.5 years, and I am so honored to bring 3 amazing speakers to you guys today. Danny Schwartz with RJE Business Interiors, John Nyer with HGC Construction, and Joe Beischel with RJ Beischel Building Company, all of which have different histories with ACI, some longer than others. Some have been more engaged than others, but these 3 individuals bring a really, really great just different perspective than just the ACI staff speaking with you. So we as an ACI team are excited to have them here with you today. And we're going to go ahead and move on from there. Just a little background on ACI. It is our mission to expand opportunities for our members to be stronger construction companies by advocacy, education, networking, safety, and workforce development. We strive to do whatever we can to create a better opportunity for our members to grow with all of these. And we'll go into all these different areas throughout the remainder of the program. The board, we are, excuse me, good morning, it's a little early. We are set up as an umbrella. So there are a couple of companies that come beneath that, or unions that come beneath us. The Cincinnati Division of Ohio AGC is underneath our umbrella. But the way that we're ran is we have a board of directors ran by an executive committee and then the board. So you see everyone listed here with Mr. Phil O'Brien as our current president from Turner Construction Company. Steve Eater with Messer as our first vice president. Scott Whittle is our second vice president from Hummel. Stephen Mann's our treasurer. Justin Cohn is secretary. And Majid Samargandi is our past president and with Triton. And over on the right side, you'll see the board of directors. These individuals are a huge support to our industry, and all of them sit on a committee and support as the board liaison to our committee. The ACI department, so every committee that I was talking about, and every department is ran by a different individual. So first and foremost, we have our executive director, Ms. Terry Phillips, who is on here with us today. Anthony Ricciardi, associate director. Myself, who you already know me. Jen Galt, education program manager. Dan Wright, plan room and IT manager, and Susan Berman, safety program manager, who is actually not able to join us today because she is running a very big AGC safety program down in our training center right now. Socially distanced, of course, masks on. And then next we have Lydia Burns, who's our project manager for Construction Career Advocacy Program. And the lady behind the PowerPoint is Miss Mary Timmons, the marketing communication manager. So first up, we would like to hear from Danny Schwartz. I'm going to let Danny tell you a little bit more about her, but she has just been recently added to the ACI family and gotten involved with the ACI YP and really made a name for herself there and has been doing a great job. So Danny, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thanks, Erica. Just a quick introduction. Danny Schwartz with RJE Business Interiors. So we're involved in interior design, interior construction, and furniture. And like Erica mentioned, my path to ACI was a little bit different. My role is not directly in construction, but we are part of the industry, and I really just wanted an opportunity to connect with others in the industry. Came across ACI, I met Erica at the holiday party for the YP team and really just clicked with her and some of the other YPs, and I realized it was a great opportunity to just build connections in the industry. And I think that was about 3 years ago, so almost 3 years later, here I am. So as far as top reasons companies join ACI, this is a full list in order. So networking, similar to why I joined, is one of the top ones. And really that's been crucial for me. I do my own new business development, as many people on the call may be doing and many people in ACI are doing. So really just building out that network in the industry has been amazing. For myself and growing my business. I won't go through the whole list. I know you all can read it. But one of the big ones right now is the online safety and education, that's been huge during COVID. Obviously, we're not doing much in-person stuff. It's been very, very minimal. So there's been some great webinars and panel discussions, similar to events to what we're doing right now, just to make sure the industry is up to date on current knowledge, especially with COVID. There was a great one recently on the future of the industry with COVID. There was one on marketing and new business development during COVID, and it was interesting. That was a little bit of a different crowd than I normally see, but it was great and very beneficial for me. And, you know, lots of other great reasons to join ACI listed there. As far as committee participation, that was one of the first things that I talked with Erica about when I joined ACI. And that was one of the first things that was recommended to me. That's really how you begin to build that network and meet new people and, you know, just get your name out there so people know who you and who your company are. So I'm involved in ACIYP, as Erica mentioned. So that is our young professionals group. And there's about 15 or 20 of us on our committee. Any given day or time it changes. We've got 2 co-chairs, and Erica and Lydia with ACI are also very heavily involved in that committee. But it's other than that, it's young professionals across a bunch of different ACI companies. I really think most companies have 1 representative. There's not too many that have 2, which is nice. It's, you know, a good diverse group of young professionals. And the way we're run, we meet once a month. Currently it's virtually. And we're just discussing all of our initiatives. So we're pretty events heavy. So we try and do, you know, roughly 1 event a month, and that those can be different things. Sometimes we're doing job site tours, which is awesome. So we get a sneak peek at different construction sites around the industry. So we recently got to see the music venue in Cincinnati, and we are going to be seeing FC Cincinnati here, I believe later in October. I know I'm signed up. I can't remember the exact date, but really excited to get to see that stadium almost at its completion. And some of the other initiatives we're doing is obviously networking is huge for the young professionals. We've got a great program that connects board members with the young professionals. We're very involved in the workforce development and scholarship aspect as well when it relates to the skilled trade awards and helping to fundraise for those. One other committee that I want to highlight is marketing and communications. So they're very involved in making sure everyone knows what's going on with ACI, what's going on in the industry. So they put out the newsletter, they're putting out different articles, constantly updating the website content. So throughout COVID, there was a COVID toolbox that was constantly being updated. And again, it's just keeping things relevant and keeping members up to date with everything going on. As far as publications and extra services, these are some of the things that members often don't remember that, you know, hey, I get to utilize this when I join ACI, but this is really where you can get that return on investment because there's so many great things here. So I'll run through some of these. The quarterly magazine, I would definitely take a look through that every quarter when it comes out. There's just some really great content in there. And in addition, there's some advertising and sponsorship promotional opportunities. So again, getting your company's name out there, getting your name out there is great. There's an annual printed directory that has all of the members, and there's a limited time to join to get your name in this year's printed directory. Of course, if you join past the deadline, you can get in the online one, but you know, some people really love that print directory. So ACI is very involved in social media, so LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. There's also a YouTube channel, so you can subscribe and like and follow on all of those different avenues. And one awesome thing you'll get to see if you subscribe to the YouTube channel is ACIYP recently did a Say Yes to the Mess fundraiser. And I'll let your curiosity take you to the YouTube page to check that out. There's some awesome videos from that. And one of the great things that I didn't even necessarily know when I joined ACI, but has been huge for my involvement, is community involvement. So there's a lot of different things that are supporting the community. So for example, with our ACI Say Yes to the Mess, we were helping to support Free Store Food Bank as well as the Scholarship and Skilled Trade Award. So that was really nice to give back to the Free Store. And another event coming up, LLS, Leukemia Lymphoma Society, there is a walk coming up currently in honor of Jack Pomeroy. So Sid Pomeroy with Messer Construction, a family member of them. So really nice just to be supporting the ACI family and many different events that you can get involved in and join as an ACI team, know other ACI faces, anything like that. So best practices and advice, and this is all kind of specific to me. I'm sure the other two speakers today will have some different to them. Like I mentioned, networking was a big reason I joined. And, someone mentioned to me when I first joined, hey, there's been people that have been involved in ACI for 10, 20, 30 plus years. They're already very well connected. They know a lot of people. You might go to an event and not know as many people at first, and there's the groups that you're going to see always together. Get out there, get your name out there, let people know who you are, and that's really how you're going to start building your network. Another thing that was recommended to me was joining that committee. So for me, joining the Young Professionals Group and committee was huge, because then any ACI event I was going to, I could reach out to someone in the YP group and say, hey, are you going? Want to go together? Want to tag team? Who are you looking to meet? Who am I looking to meet? And we could really just help each other out there. I've also been able to utilize that group for some introductions on projects that we're looking to get involved in. And that's been really awesome, just to utilize that network. Staying up to date, I think all the resources that ACI provides allows you to stay up to date. So whether that's the COVID toolbox that's on the website, utilizing the webinars just to hear what's latest and greatest in the industry, learning from superiors or others in the group on panel discussions. I just think there's so much good content that you can tune into and learn from. The committee involvement, I touched on that already a bit, but I think that's the easiest way just to really get to know some people and have a monthly touch point with those specific people. And then of course you can connect with them outside of that. But I think that also shows, if you get involved, people know you're trustworthy, they know you're honest, they know what they can expect from you. And then, like similar to me, if you're looking to grow business through that, you can, they trust you. They're going to want to recommend you for business. And then finally, just utilizing the ACI staff. Erica, how many times have I emailed you saying, do you know this person, or do you know someone at this company, or, what is going on?
Yeah, we're always happy to help you for sure.
But that's what they're there for. I mean, they are very well connected with all the different member companies and what's going on in the industry. So they're a great resource, and that's exactly what they're there for. So hopefully that information helped, and I'm going to go ahead now and turn it over to our next speaker. So John Nyer, he is on the ACI membership committee, and he is with HGC Construction. So thanks everyone, and John, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to be here. I am John Nyer. I'm with HGC Construction, and I'm a proud member of ACI since the late 70s. Have been involved ever since I came in with on my dad's coattails. So moving into benefits of your membership, there are so many. They're not even all listed here, but some of the big ones. Committee participation. Your voice does matter, and getting it out there, sharing with others, hearing others is such a benefit for you and our industry. Company savings, there's always, we're all looking for different possibilities for ourselves or for our employees. So there are numerous different opportunities out there. The education classes, they are second to none. Our HGC has its own safety department, and we put on our own safety classes, but we still send people to some of the ACI ones, or we go learn from them. Industry advocacy, who is going to talk for you and give you a real voice? Well, when you got 500 members that are backing you, it goes further with the government. So they work on that. Leadership development. I'm hearing that that's a top-notch program that numerous have gone through. I went through one at UC different than this, so I haven't been through it, so I don't personally have a handle, but I've only heard good things around ACI about it. Networking events. That is the easiest one to get involved in. It's generally low cost, if any cost. and you get people, if you go to the annual meeting, you've got 500, 600, I think one time we actually had 1,000 different people at a meeting. Where can you do that in one evening? The physical and online plan access, the construction connection. This is, I think, especially true for a small company, so they can get out there and find out what's there and have free access to the plans so they can bid it. I know the amount we spend at HGC on purchasing plans or printing them every year is astronomical. How does a small company do that same thing? Well, this is one way of cutting your costs. The professional services, that's one I personally have not used. Erica tells me about it. I suggest you call staff on this one. Like Danny said, the publication, the quarterly magazine that comes out, read it, at least scan it, know what's there. The ads, you're going to pass one, you may stick or it may not. But the articles, they're written by fellow members. So generally they all have some importance somewhere in your business. The safety classes, again, like I said before, the safety is just top notch here. And then the workforce solutions. We're all running short on labor. Where do we get them from? Where's the next group of call them kids coming into the industry? This is where they're working on trying to get them encouraged from the grade school on up. And Ann Mitchell does a great job with the first step into the kids. Moving on to some of the networking. This is, I really believe networking is where you get your biggest bang for the buck out of ACI. Coming up, we've got the October 22nd, the party in the plan room. Go and learn. If you haven't been to the plan room, visit it. See Dan there. See what the benefits are. I can't say enough about it. It's been around for years. They reinvent it periodically to bring it up to speed. It's gone from when I originally went there, it was all paper. Now it's got all, I guess, mainly online. But again, for a small contractor, it's a great benefit. December 4th is the steel toes to stilettos. Probably Erica can answer this a lot better than I can. But it originally started for the ladies of construction to get together for celebration. And then it grew into, let's invite the gentlemen of construction. They may be able to get some, a Christmas gift that are significant. So it's an opportunity on either side to go to. So many of the other events, CEO networks, I go to every one I can. That is down for contractors, and I believe architects and engineers, other professionals, Erica?
Yes, it's for the decision makers of our architects, engineer, and contracting companies to meet some of the owners that they'd be working with.
Okay, but there's no vendors there. So it's not a sales contest. You don't have people come up trying to sell you anything. You're meeting with your peers and just hear what's going on out there. Contractors breakfast, just like this. Well, I guess unless you brought your own breakfast here, we don't have it. But typically when pre-COVID, it was always in ACI's office. And I would go there, put a couple words in, but to see the new people out there because it was another networking event for me. The ACI, unfortunately, I'm a little bit too old for that, but I only hear good things in the younger people that work with me. I do recommend that they get involved in this. And I think Danny was speaking very eloquently about it. Some of the other annual events, we got Safety Day, top-notch event. The annual meeting I already mentioned. The Reds outing, unfortunately, got canceled this year, but that's always a great event that has about 200 people at it. The golf outing, morning outing and an afternoon outing, and it always fills up. Then the Tech Expo, I'm not a techie, so every once in a while I'll go and it'll bring me a little more up to speed. Party in the Park's a great adventure. I can remember going back to this back in the 70s, where there were probably about 75. Now I think there's a couple hundred that attended. The clay shoot is always sells out quickly. So if you're a clay shooter, get your name in for that one quickly when you see it. And then there's the holiday open house. Come and get a free lunch and see what's going on with the staff and just visit. Membership discounts. Again, this is a great perk for the members and for any of your associates, because there's ones that on this that work personally, you know, going to the zoo or the Warsaw Federal Home Loans. You can get those different benefits. But this, by default, gives you buying power of a larger group because of ACI. So it's best to look on the website for more information on any of these, or contact ACI staff because they can help you walk it through and make the real connections for you. COVID is a new world for not just for everybody, not just the construction industry, but I have to commend ACI on how they have stepped up, found new ways. I don't believe they knew much about a virtual meeting or had Zoom in their portfolio before COVID took off, and they have learned how to manage that and work through it and keep us all informed and help us stepping out. I know that the staff personally made calls to all the members during the COVID to see how they were going and checking in on what was needed, what they could do. So they've worked on that. They've got that COVID-19 toolbox out. They're putting in the COVID webinars so you can see different things going on. But they've taken all their classes that what used to be in the classroom, and now they're putting them online. So we can continue to keep our certifications up, get new people trained, whatever it takes. And if ever you have a class that you wish they had, talk to them. They'll probably work to find a way to put it on for you. And instead, the virtual programs, I know a couple committee I'm on, we do it virtually now. Can't wait to get back in the room with everybody, see them face to face, but it's better than having a blank. You know, but they're all the different committees are meeting virtually right now. And I guess seeing it there, Steel Toes to Stilettos is going to be virtual too. So what are my best practices? As a lot of these go along with Danny, and I'm sure Joe has similar ones, but it's, most importantly, get involved. It's one of your best ways to leverage your membership. You know, I've just grown through the organization, and getting involved has put me on to different committees. I'm currently on the membership committee, but I've been on the safety committee, the scholarship committee, and both the safety, or on the scholarship, that one I have been chair of before. I've been on workforce development, and at one time I was on the board of directors for ACI. You know, I was giving back, but I was receiving so much more than I was giving back. Attend as many events as you can get to. Again, there's always great people there, and you can network. I don't look at it as an opportunity to sell anything, but I get to meet different people, and I have gotten leads on projects by being there. That was just one of the added benefits. Or one time there's a landscaper that recommended me for another project just because we had to build a relationship. I just had an architect do a project for me because we had met through ACI. You know, it doesn't come quick. The architect, we knew each other for over 5 years and sought each other out at meetings just to say hi. And then I finally brought him into a job. Um, you go meet, you're building those relationships all the time. Offer your talents to help others become stronger. You're going to reap the benefits from that. And I always believe in anything you do, the more you give to an organization, the more you're going to get out of it. If you don't give, if you're not involved, to be honest with you, I tell people when I'm talking with them, if you don't want to get involved, you're just going to sit there and you're going to kick your money in, you can consider it a donation. If you want to leverage it, you've got to get involved one way or the other. It is not going to just magically come to you. That's it. I'll be open for questions at the end of this. Now it goes to Joe Beischel with Beischel Construction.
All right. Hey, everybody. I am Joe Beischel, president of Beischel Building Company. I am currently on the board of ACI, and I have been on several committees through the years as well, and haven't been involved in ACI quite as long as John, but probably 30 years or so. And I'm going to talk about primarily today about two topics that are very important to ACI, which are workforce development and advocacy. These are both, so every 3 years we have a strategic planning meeting. And at that strategic planning meeting, we talk about priorities and what the ACI should be working on, and workforce development and advocacy always come up as two of the main priorities. So we're gonna talk a little bit about what ACI is doing in those two categories. So in workforce development, several different things, 6 or 7 different things we'll talk about very briefly. One of them is higher education. So as has been mentioned, there's a scholarship committee. As member companies donate money for higher education scholarships. So the scholarships anywhere from $2,000 or $3,000 to $7,500, depending on what the company wants to donate. And we've given away a lot of scholarships over the years, and this keeps growing very, very rapidly, actually, recently. So it's up to $68,000 last year. So that's really a great program to support the new college kids coming into the program, coming into the industry. The ACIYP, they do skilled trade awards. They raise money through their events, through whatever events they come up with. And they're very creative in doing that. And they've been given skilled trade awards. So they give $500 awards to skilled tradespersons, which is I think a relatively new program, but I think it's a great one. So instead of just giving to college students, we're also giving to skilled tradespeople. Next one is Construction Career Days, which is a really huge program that ACI leads that has, as it says on the slide, 2,600 middle and high school students. So they get to come. This year, I guess it's going to be kind of weird with it being virtual, but typically they come and get a lot of hands-on experience with construction, just get introduced to the construction industry as a possible career. I think the kids really like it, and it's just a really great thing that ACI leads. Had a really big impact in the industry. Next one is ACI operates a program that's funded by the Spirit of Construction Foundation. It's the Career Advocate Program, and that was sort of hinted at earlier, I think by John, in that it's a reach out to middle schoolers. So they've actually been able to get applied math and construction careers actually into the school's curriculums, which is really interesting and powerful, I think, so that the 5th, 6th graders are already thinking about that and already learning practical things about the construction industry at a very young age when they're still trying to develop what they want to be when they grow up. So that's been a really powerful program, and I think it's on the verge of really growing to be a lot bigger program. The other thing that ACI does is they operate a pre-apprenticeship training program with it. So that's the partnership with a lot of different people, Urban League, Community Action Agency, Easter Seals, and Jobs for Cincinnati. And what that's really doing is trying to get young people involved to get them ready to join an apprenticeship program. So teaching them work skills, giving them OSHA 10, giving them some experience with like maybe driving a skid steer or something like that. But it's really just a matter of trying to get them ready to be successful in a trade apprenticeship program. So that's a really great program as well. ACI manages Rosie's Girls and a Spirit Construction Summer Camp. Were both very popular things, similar except that the Rosie's Girls is for girls only, as you might suspect. And the girls get a lot of hands-on things, really fun stuff, I think, for them, welding and electric work and plumbing work and stuff like that. And Spirit Construction Summer Camp, they actually go and do a build. They'll build a shed or whatever, and they actually get a lot of hands-on experience as well. So all of these programs are really about just trying to reach kids younger to sort of introduce them to our industry, and they all are very successful and I think really important. The last one, ACI, Cincinnati Public Schools and Habitat for Humanity are working on. They're going to build 3 homes in Bond Hill, which would be really cool. That's supposed to start in springtime, I believe. And so that'll be a really interesting program because they'll actually build, a whole house, will have a lot of different experiences. So these are all super important programs. Workforce development couldn't be more important right now as we struggle to find qualified employees. So what ACI is doing here is just essential to the future of Cincinnati's construction industry. So this is all fantastic programs. And I would recommend that anybody gets involved in this. If you're involved in ACI at all, being involved in some way or other in the workforce development is really important. Last thing I'm going to talk about is advocacy. This is very quick. We're trying to be the voice of the local industry. Okay, so we partner with people. We want if there's a construction related question or topic or issue, if you will, in Cincinnati, we want everybody in Cincinnati to think the first thing they should do is call ACI, because ACI is the voice of the industry. We're the biggest group, we have the most members, we're the most connected group. And we also have very strong ties that Erica mentioned earlier with AGC. And AGC is a large national organization that has local, state, and federal level lobbyists. And so AGC is able to really lobby for issues that affect the construction industry. And so what ACI is able to do is to help try to get the voice of the ACI members to the right people through AGC so that those issues can be brought forth and be lobbied for us in the right way. There's a lot of issues that affect the construction industry that our state and federal governments mess around with all the time. So we have to stick up for ourselves, whether it's the contract documents that are on public projects. There's just a lot of different things. So the advocacy is another very important part of what ACI does. Best practice and advice is not anything too brilliantly new compared to what Danny and John said, but sort of same stuff. ACI is not passive. You get involved and you reap the rewards. Join a committee. There's so many committees, it's hard to believe you can't find one that is interesting to you. So try to find one that you like and join, and you'll get to know people there and keep moving. Your circle of influence will keep growing. Go to as many networking events as possible. It's amazing how quickly you'll get to know 5 people and 10 people than 100 people, and pretty soon you'll know a lot of people in your industry. I think this is really important because back in the old days when I was a young guy, we met a lot of people because we actually saw each other more. Subcontractors would come into our office to look at plans and bid plans, and we would have a lot more face-to-face stuff. There's so much stuff these days, even before COVID, that's just email, and everybody's looking at the drawings on their computer and nobody's seeing each other. So the networking stuff, I think, is more important than ever with ACI, because without it, everybody's just an email address or a phone number. They're not really a person that you deal with. And that becomes very important if you ever get in a tough spot with somebody. It's really important to actually know them. Listen and learn. There's just so much to learn from your peers in the industry if you're willing to listen and share. So I can't tell you how much stuff I've learned by just trying to pay attention when I'm in groups of my peers, and people are very willing to share. And I know sometimes you're like, oh, we compete with each other, blah, blah, blah. But it's amazing how willing my peers are to share issues that they're going through with me. And it's really, I think, a great feeling for me to be able to learn from other people and share what our lessons learned so that we can keep each other out of hot water. And then, like has been said before, use the resources the ACI offers. They have so many different resources. I mean, I can't imagine anything construction related that you could ask Erica or some other staff member at ACI, and they don't know the answer. They're going to find it for you. So it's just a fantastic resource. So please use it. It's one of the great benefits that's sort of hard to define, but just knowing that you have somebody that you can ask questions to is a great resource. So that's about all I have. Turn it back over to Erica, and any questions for all of us folks?
Awesome. I cannot thank you, Joe and John and Danny, who had to hop off. She had another meeting. I cannot thank you guys enough. Just bringing the benefits from a member perspective is amazing. So thank you so much. We have had a couple of questions that have come through, and I've taken a couple of notes that maybe we can expand upon. But the first question was, is there any technical training available on the YouTube channel? At this time, no, not on our YouTube channel. However, we have just upgraded our system to add a LMS, learning management system, where we are going to be doing more technical training online. We're also upgrading a little bit of our website. Mary and I actually have a meeting about that later today. So there are things that are in process right now that we are hoping to have more technical at a distance training or distance learning late 2020, early 2021. So I know David, you are one of our top instructors in the education department, so we will definitely let you know as we know more. Another question was from Mr. Cooper: how many of those events are actually still going on? It's a good question. This year was kind of, I wouldn't say necessarily a flop. We still had our annual meeting where we had 700 plus people there. It was 2 weeks before the city shut down, or really the nation shut down, really. But it still went off without a hitch. We still had it. Very last minute, we tried to postpone the Reds outing. It didn't happen. We had to cancel that. We went ahead and canceled the golf outing, but we do have 2021 ready to go. Being that we already have a couple of in-person events going on right now, we now have regulations in place for next year that we can still have the golf outing going on. And like John said, there's a morning and afternoon tea time for that. So a few hundred people there. And then the party in the park, we did go ahead and cancel that this year, but next year, again, we already know the regulations in place. Hopefully there's a vaccine by then. 2021 is going to be a very exciting year. We are starting to get back in person a little bit here and there. There are regulations in place, but there are still networking opportunities going on. And although I know we're all probably sick of Zoom and we're all probably sick of staring at the little Brady Bunch squares on our screen, there are some really great networking opportunities that we have going on virtually, such as we just had a breakfast with the board and mentors in ACI YP, and we had a wonderful panel of industry leaders that shared with the YPs their trials and tribulations. And then we also were able to break into small groups, and we actually had better ratings on that networking opportunity versus in person. The young professionals, semi not surprisingly, were a little bit more comfortable having that open discussion with the board mentors there on the screen. And we made sure cameras were on. That was one of the things that they had to do, the stipulation. They had to have the cameras on to kind of make it a little bit more of a connection. And then we also have, as was mentioned earlier, we do have a CEO networking event coming up. Again, that is reserved for our decision makers, for architect, engineer, contracting companies to really get to know the owners, and for the contractors to get to know the subs to get to know the generals, and generals to get to know the architects and engineers. And it's just really to learn about what's going on in some future events or future building. I'm so sorry. So the next one we have coming up, it is actually a combo of in-person and virtual. We recognize that not everyone in the industry is excited about getting back out in person yet. We have some folks that are high risk, and we absolutely respect that and appreciate that. So we were able to work with Deshays in Montgomery, and we have 50 spots in person, and then the rest can be virtual. And those that are in person, we're still saying, hey, hop on that Zoom, have your chat in there, get to know people that aren't able to be there. Even the people that you are there with, you can still message them during the presentation by Mercy Hospital and Children's Hospital. So we're trying to get really creative where we're doing some in person and some virtual and also some combo. So 2021, we're really excited. It will be a very creative and interesting year, and we will be getting back in person a little bit more with the regulations from Governor DeWine. And then let's see, we have a couple more. Thank you, John. Let's see, can you elaborate on the regional reach to ACI beyond South? So the regional reach to ACI, I look sometimes as a staff member, I look at ACI in two parts. One, most of our 450, 500 members are generally within a 25 to 50 mile radius. So they're going to come to the events. They're going to be a part of the membership, getting involved with the committees, so on and so forth. Our plan room, which we do have the physical plan room and online plan room, that does span about a 100-mile radius around our Lockland, Ohio office. Now, when you're looking at, if you're looking to go beyond, we're talking Cleveland and Indianapolis, Georgia, anywhere, we would definitely say, hey, look at our, look at your options with AGC. Again, we house the Cincinnati Division of Ohio AGC, and that's how we have really strong connections to be able to support lobbying efforts, even though we as an association do not lobby. I hope that answers your question. If not, please let me know. Let's see, is there anything being done for retention once an individual gets employed? So David, another really great question. So workforce development is definitely a focal point. Each year we go through a 3-year strategic plan, and the number one initiative that came out of the last strategic plan was workforce development. How do we fill the pipeline? And now more than ever is that important with everything going on with this pandemic. So we do work with our members. So let's say, you know, when you're looking at our work within the schools, we hope to get them in middle school, and then we run with them through high school. We work with tons of high schools and grade schools throughout the tri-state. Again, career days, we're still doing it virtually. We're doing classroom projects where they either do a research project, they build a bench, or they weld a fire pit together. We generally have been seeing, now that we've been doing this for a while, that those that we're meeting in middle school, we're seeing them through high school and beyond. So once they go through the pre-apprenticeship, or once they go through apprenticeship, or once a high school student decides that they want to go into a career, that's where, as an employer and a member of ACI, we say to you, hey, we understand that you have hired these individuals. We understand that you're training them in-house. Maybe you're doing field training, but ACI still has a number of safety and education, NCCR opportunities to continue training. And that's what our members recognize with ACI, is there's continued training within ACI, and that's how we help that individuals stay within a company. And then retention, you can also look at that as going back to the member discounts. So I know that a lot of companies compete from a standpoint of maybe this company pays the individual more, but maybe this one has better insurance or better offerings as an employee package. You can also look at the member discounts where you can tack on Legal Shield, for instance. Most of the ACI staff has Legal Shield. It's offered as a member discount through your membership. It's just one more thing that you can tack on, whether your company pays 50% of that, doesn't pay any of it, just offers it. That's really awesome. And I know that we personally have, again, the Boast card, and many of our members have picked up the Boast card and added it as a retention piece to their membership, their employee benefits package, because not everyone wants to go to the doctor when they have a sore throat or an earache or pink eye, or their kid has that, or their husband or wife has that. You simply call up and you say, you talk to a doctor, or you video conference with a doctor, and they either tell you, yes, I can help you with that, and here's what I'm going to prescribe you to your local pharmacy, or you really need to go to the ER for this, or hey, there's not really anything I can prescribe to you for that, but what I can do is go ahead and tell you that you should probably take this, this, and this, and that will help you get over whatever faster. I have used it many times because I can't stand going to the doctor. So there's a couple of different ways. And if you're interested in looking into that further and really getting into the specifics, I'm more than happy to speak with you one-on-one about that as well. Any more questions, send them in. A couple of notes that I took. Joe, I think it was Joe that really touched on the members working with members. We might be competitors, but we work with each other. Another really great example of that at ACI is TSSD, the Tri-State Safety Dialogue Group, where it is competing companies coming together in different confidential TSSD groups, and they're talking about, hey, this happened on our job site, or we're concerned about this, or hey, we need to update this. And it's these groups that have signed confidentiality agreements, and they work with each other to help each other through the individual safety needs that they have. So it's really an awesome opportunity. Safety Day is happening next year. It'll be virtual. We're really excited about what we're doing. That is on February 9th of next year. I talked about career days, events happening. Annual meeting next year is going to be interesting. We are still hoping, planning, praying, whatever we can. We want to do something in person. I'm so sorry about the sunlight coming through my window. So we want to do something in person, and the entertainment committee is really looking into that and researching it right now. We're looking at an idea, and I just got confirmation that one of the locations is definitely available. So there's definitely more to come on that. And then last but not least that I had, if no one else has any more questions, Steel Toes to Stilettos is virtual, and all the proceeds that do go to our scholarship to award a young woman who is studying a construction-related field at a local university. So there will be more coming out in the biweekly e-newsletter about that. So all of our members or potential members be looking out for that. We're really we've got some really great baskets coming in that you can put your tickets in on. And again, all the proceeds from the ticket sales are going to go to a young lady studying a construction-related field. So that's all I personally have. Joe or John, if you guys have anything to add in, or any of our participants, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself and ask any questions, you're more than welcome to at this time.
I would just like to say that I'm available to anybody on the call if they have any other questions outside of this meeting. If anybody wants to call me or whatever, I'm happy to do that about anything. So just make myself available for that.
And I'll second that with Joe. And, going back, building relationships, and as Joe and Erica were talking, HGC will go head to head with Beischel on different projects. And if we're head to head, yeah, I want to beat them. But at the end of the day, if they get the job and I don't, you know what? The owner's bought a good company. So we have those relationships. Do I share direct information with them on one individual project? No. But if I have some experience and they're looking at a job and I can help them with that, I'm more than happy to talk with them. Give them some of those tricks to the
It's okay.
that's a relationship. So I think that's, there's hidden little benefits of ACI.
Through the leadership development programs that I've done, is that we get these young people that want to try construction, and they try it for a while and they go from one foreman to the next, and they get different ways of doing things, and the frustration level goes up, and these guys end up dumping out within 6 months to a year, and then we start the cycle all over again. So and once again, that's probably more of a committee, and maybe I should get on the workforce development committee, because I know through the Leadership Excellence program, at the end of their training, they have a problem that they have to solve. And in the last couple of years, it's all been about workforce development. So any thoughts on that from anybody?
I would just say, David, it's a great question. And I think all of us employers struggle with retention, but I think it would be great if there was a way to have like ACI or an industry group help with that, but I really feel most of that falls back on the employer. We really, as the employer, I think we really need to do a good job of making sure that new employee feels valued, is getting the training they need, is getting the feedback they need. And in our industry is typically, at least stereotypically, not good at that. So it takes an extra effort, I think, to try to keep people from leaving. That first year or so is really, really critical. If they stay past that first year, I feel like that a lot of times they make a career of it, but a lot of people bail out in that first year for a multitude of reasons, but most of them, in my opinion, would be very simple to correct. They're just not, nobody tries very hard to reach out and make sure they're, getting what they need.
To echo what Joe's saying, what I see is we get a new person, we put them out to a superintendent, and then they go to a different superintendent and they do it differently. I personally am left-handed. So why don't you all do it left-handed with me? I happen to know that's not a realistic way to look at it. So it's probably acknowledging that there's differences in each superintendent and asking them to pick up what they feel are the best traits from each one and go through it and just learn from experience. When we're hiring carpenters, we need some rough carpenters, but we need framing carpenters. I can't necessarily expect one person to be both expert at framing and finish. So we have to realize where we're at, put them in the right spots, and then try and help them grow. And as Joe said, we have to look at it in more detail. Just putting them out in the woods with the superintendents, sometimes, somebody needs to check back in on it. And I know that's probably a weakness of mine, just going out and talking to the individual guys on a daily basis, because I'm fighting the other fires.
It's one of the things that I've been doing, David, just for the past year is I have one-on-one lunches with every one of our employees over the course of the year. And I feel like there's a lot of value in that they, I don't think I'm a big deal, but they do because I'm the president of the company. And so they get, I think they get a sense of that they're valued from that. And it gives them a voice, and then they feel like they know me, which is good. I think if there's ever any problem that comes up, and then maybe they feel like, well, I can't tell my superintendent because he is the problem or whatever, then they feel like they know somebody that they can talk to above that. So that seems to be helping with I've only been doing it for about the past year, but it seems to be helping.
Yeah, I think those are phenomenal ideas. I'm just wondering whether or not we should get into best practices and then share that with the rest of the organization. Here's the struggle. We struggle getting these people in. How do we keep them? And if we don't have some kind of systematic approach to keeping them, then we run the risk. We lose all that work that we do on the front end of getting them in. Right? It's a two-part equation. It's recruitment and retention. So I'll stop because I could go on a rampage all day. So thanks, guys.
Erica, I want to suggest that maybe there is a round table, just informal, to come together and talk about some different ideas of that sort of like the safety people do. I think it's another opportunity for ACI.
Yes, I actually, thank you, John. I actually just put a note down on my Post-it note to follow up with Terry and Anthony on a potential roundtable for something like this. So David, you would be instrumental in that. So thank you very, very much.
Did I just volunteer for something?
Possibly. The more vocal you are, the more you get engaged, right?
David, you can be the chair.
Gee, thank you. Confident.
I just privately messaged Joe Beischel. My husband's company also does the lunch every year with the president, and he really appreciates it as well. They had a little bit of turnover in previous years, and once they started doing those lunches one-on-one, obviously not all large companies can do it, but the retention on the company, the turnaround has been really good. So definitely a good point to make. Any other questions that we can answer for anybody today? All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up then. Again, we did record today. So if you had to come in late or jump off early, we will place this on our YouTube channel. I will send you guys the link when it's ready, and with Joe and John's contact information and Danny's as well once I get her permission. And we will get this all back out to you guys. Again, I cannot thank you all enough for spending the morning with us today and just learning more about your membership or potential membership. If you have any questions, please, again, call ACI. Although we're not in the office 100%, we always have some employees in the office from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. Stop on in, say hello. We're more than happy to talk to you guys. So with that, thank you all again, and I hope you have a fantastic day. And Joe, John, and Danny, thank you so much.